invited President Obama to join us, but he has a scheduling conflict. But certainly we're here today to address what is really a very, very important pocketbook issue for the people of the state of New York, and that involves auto insurance fraud. New Yorkers pay much higher auto insurance premiums because fraud is so prevalent, and this is significantly higher premiums in the metropolitan area, the city of New York. I know that Senator Golden will comment on that. And not only is it resulting in much higher premiums, people have been injured and killed in stage accidents. Large-scale criminal organizations focused on auto fraud are scamming the system every day and costing us billions of dollars through higher premiums in Medicaid fraud. And certainly, working with the governor, we've been looking for ways to rein in the Medicaid costs in New York State. Year after year, the Senate has passed a simple, straightforward package of bills that would help combat auto insurance fraud. The bills we passed would put hundreds of millions of dollars back in the pockets of New York families, save lives, and make our roads much safer. Now, I sponsored a bill. It's called the Runner's Bill. I can't even remember how many years the Senate has passed that legislation. I would say close to unanimously, which would make it a crime with strict penalties for an individual that sets up an accident and then steers people to a Medicaid mill. This bill, as I said, has passed the Senate on numerous occasions and unfortunately has not seen the light of day in the Assembly. We've accomplished much this year and last year working with Governor Cuomo, bipartisan basis, 2 early budgets. We've passed different legislation that nobody ever thought we'd pass, property tax cap, we've cut spending, we've cut taxes, and now it's really important to focus on an issue that impacts, as I said at my opening comments, that impacts so many people through higher insurance premiums. We have individuals here, 2 senators, and a number of senators are here, the 2 who have really taken the lead on this issue, Senator Seward and Senator Golden, and at this time I'd ask Senator Seward to make some comments.
Well, thank you, Leader Skelos. There's no question that comprehensive reform is desperately needed to reduce and eliminate the fraud in the auto insurance area and also the high costs that are associated with that fraud as it relates to our no-fault insurance system. Now, it seems to me that this fraud should be treated and recognized as the serious crime that it is. And it is not a victimless crime. Anyone who purchases auto insurance in New York State is a victim because they're paying more because of that fraud. So cleaning up the system and closing the existing loopholes will bring savings to our auto insurance consumers of New York. It will protect a significant number of insurance industry jobs in New York because of an improved market here. Also put lawbreakers behind bars and save lives. You know, my bill, as part of our package we're talking about today, is Senate Bill 1685. It would establish a new felony-level crime of staging a motor vehicle accident. The way these staged accidents work is that the perpetrators stage an accident, in other words, deliberately colliding with another motor vehicle, feigning injuries, and then running through these medical mills, as Senator Skelos talked about, and all collecting thousands and thousands of dollars in benefits. Under the no-fault system, up to $50,000 per driver and passenger. It's known as Alice's Law. It's named in memory of Alice Ross, who was a 71-year-old grandmother who was killed back in 2003 as a result of a fraud-related staged accident. And we're very pleased to be joined today by Alice's brother, Don Peters, who we'll be hearing from in a few moments. And as a matter of fact, women and the elderly are frequently targets because they are less likely to be confrontational after an accident. Now let me say, the vast majority of our doctors, our lawyers, and patients do not engage in fraudulent activity. It's merely a few bad actors involved many times in organized crime rings that are the source of the problem. You know, my bills, in addition to those that are sponsored by Leader Skelos and Senator Golden, will target specifically where the problem is, those criminals. The Senate has already passed legislation we're talking about today. The governor's on board on this issue as well, in joining us in attacking this escalating criminal enterprise. Just recently, the Department of Financial Services issued new regulations that will assist in our fight on fraud. Now it's up to the Assembly. Now it's up to the Assembly to follow suit and to pass these bills before the session ends. And I would also add that these bills are a very, very good start. Much more needs to be done, and I've introduced a whole host of other legislation that would help reform the no-fault system in a comprehensive manner as well. But zeroing in on these three bills that we've already passed in the Senate, I urge the Assembly to be a partner with us in putting these criminals behind bars and improving safety on our streets and, very importantly, lowering auto insurance costs for New Yorkers. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Seward. Next, Senator Golden.
Thank you, Senator Skelos, Senator Seward. It is incomprehensible to understand how much money is actually being lost in this state, in the state of New York. Over $1 billion a year is being lost to Medicaid fraud, which is also hooked into this fraud that we have today on auto insurance. If you take a look at the three bills that were passed here in the Senate, they would help to cut down on that fraud and to cut down on the losses of the lives and the human tragedy that we have in the city and the state of New York. There was an arrest back in February, $279 million. Over 30 people were arrested. They were doctors, lawyers, mills. That was just in February. And if you look back over the last 2 years, the number of arrests that have gone down by the district attorneys in the city and the governor and the attorney general and across the state, it is astronomical, the numbers. It's sad to say that the Assembly has failed to act on these bills. Today it's important because it puts a face on the human perspective and the true cost of this crime. This is not only about the price of insurance, premiums, although New Yorkers pay a tremendous amount of insurance. If you take a look in the city of New York, we've got $1,000 per policy is increased because of this fraud. $1,000. And in some cases, it's double. And one of our larger insurance companies have left the state of New Jersey. Left it because they cannot afford to deal with the fraud that's going on in New Jersey. We have 4 major companies here. We lose one of our major companies here, rates are going to continue to go up. We can't afford to do that. We have the highest rates in the nation. And it's not just about the money. As Senator Seward has pointed out, we have a gentleman here that was the brother of Alice Ross, 71-year-old woman that was run down in Queens. She was part of a fraud. She didn't know she was part of that fraud. We found out about that. How many Alice Rosses do we not know about? How many people have been injured that we don't even know about that were part of a scam, that are in hospitals suffering? How many people, how many families have been devastated because of this? Ask the prosecutors. They'll tell you. They're right behind. We have one here from Manhattan that's going to be representing Sally Vance. That's Dan Alonzo. And of course, we've chimed in with all of the district attorneys in the city of New York, being Charlie Hines, ADA Donovan, ADA Brown, Queens, and they all concur. This is plain law, and we just cannot keep at this rate here in this great state. These 3 common bills, these good common sense bills, give peace of mind to the families and the victims. They need the tools to prosecute and to punish those who commit the crime. The insurance company's ability to address this fraud on their end. Everyone agrees that fraud needs to be stopped, except, unfortunately, the Assembly. Shame on them for failing this city, City of New York, and the cities across this great state. Shame on them for failing our state. But most of all, shame on them for failing our families. It is abhorrent, the suffering that's gone on here in these families. I have a gentleman here that's going to come up to speak right now, and that's Dan Peters. He is the brother of Alice Ross, who is 71 years of age, and as I said, she died in a staged accident that we found out about. How many staged accident deaths are out there in the city and state of New York? How many people are in hospitals today because of this fraud? And if you take a look at the city of New York, Kings County, unfortunately, happens to be the capital of the nation when it comes to fraud, on this issue, on all the frauds, not just auto fraud, Medicaid fraud, Medicare fraud. We need to do something. We need a task force. We have to get in there, and we have to put an end to this fraud. Our bills do that. The bill that the leader has put in would cut that down dramatically. The same thing with Senator Seward. Mr. Peters?